There's a new trend among America's youth. Don't worry, this is a good trend. Young people in middle school and high school are starting to take an active role in their local government and community. Even more shocking, they're asking how they can get involved. Cities and townships across America are starting to use youth input in their daily governmental and recreational activities. Cities are finding out that their youth have a lot to say and have a lot to offer their local government. There are over 50 active groups in Michigan, from youth council to youth on committees. But no matter what you call them, it's still getting young people involved in our community. This video is to inform you about the benefits of having youth input in your community. It will also give you examples of communities that have active youth groups and some of the accomplishments they've made. We'll then discuss how you can get youth involved in your communities. Why do communities need youth input, and what are the advantages of youth input?
Well, the benefit of having a youth council is that it provides the mayor and the council, as well as the city administration, with information and ideas about what the community should be doing to address the needs of young people. So many times in the process of community development and planning and putting programs together, the thoughts and ideas from youth are often ignored. So youth councils, I think, are important because they, in fact, do provide necessary input for the decision makers that are both elected and appointed officials in local communities.
Well, I think we need to get perspectives from our young people in our communities. There's no question about it. There's certainly plenty of input from the middle-aged folks and older people in the community, but if we really want to reach our youth and value what they think is important for their community, then we ought to look for their input, and that may only be in an advisory capacity, for example. But just like any individual, it's important to feel like you have some ownership and some input as to how you're going to lead your life and how opportunities might be made available in your community.
I'd say for their input in the decision-making process. I find through our rec department that any activities that we plan that have come as an idea from the youth, we're far more likely to get their attendance, to get their excitement, and to get their ideas.
I was elected at the age of 23 as a city councilman, and I was 31 as elected as the mayor, and so having a younger perspective is certainly interesting. I think that the youth of our community can offer a different perspective for the elected officials, not just in terms of participation, but in terms of trying to nurture their involvement in government as they grow older and raise their own family. So I think that the youth symposium that we're having here in Dearborn today is very important for creating future leaders and getting people involved in government.
It's important for lots of reasons. If it's done effectively, they're truly getting a youth voice rather than just the image of the kids or having a photo opportunity. They're actually engaging youth. One of the big issues with youth is whether or not they can make a difference, and youth councils, if they're done effectively, have the opportunity to provide that direct voice and for kids to see change in their community as a result of their actions.
Well, I think in our situation, the mayor and city council members as well, as we have issues that come to us by youth or for people in the community that are planning things for youth, instead of that starting at the city council level, at our level, it's referred immediately by the mayor or one of us to the youth council. So we're getting that, much like a planning commission would get some request for housing, and they would study that issue and decide it on the merits of the zoning ordinances and so on. The same thing, we do the same thing with youth. So they're getting it and they're looking at it from a youth perspective. We just built a skateboard park, and we did something that's probably not done anywhere in the country. The skateboard park is in the middle of a senior housing development and condos, and it's worked out remarkably well. But that whole thing was started at the youth level, and then they make their recommendations. So all of the things that are youth related, whether it's initiated by youth or adults, originates with them.
It helps get young people involved. There's, people say, teens are their problems are on the rise, and they're distracted and they're disconnected from their community. And this is a good way to pull them back. Find out, I think that you can't really program or plan for the youth of our communities without their input. Adults have no idea what these kids want. So by having them involved, just even helping with the 5-year recreation plan, you can find out what kinds of things, how sports have evolved, with X Games and whatnot, really, makes a difference.
As you've heard, some of the advantages of having youth input are, well, as adults, we don't think like young people. We may not always know what kind of activities youth enjoy. But by having youth input, it can help community recreation planners bring youths to events. Youths are a great outside source of opinion. Youth can point out safety concerns for youth and the community. Young people are our future leaders. Getting them involved early is a key to our future success. And youth have time to volunteer and are willing to volunteer for causes they believe in. Youth are great mentors for younger kids, and most importantly, youth bring with them a high energy level. Cities are using youth input in many different areas. The Michigan Municipal League of Cities recently conducted a survey throughout Michigan, and they found that 65% of cities had community youth councils or committees. 60% had youth opinion in their parks and recreation departments. 44% had youth on community boards, committees, and planning committees. And 39% had community youth coalitions. Let's look at some of the accomplishments that youth groups have made. Groups vary from community to community, and some communities use 1 or 2 youths on committees for youth input. Others have youth councils with 30 or more members.
Well, we've done the Battle of the Bands, which always has a huge turnout. Last year was about 350 people. Then we have the movie night in the park and bands playing in the park in the summer. It's really, really nice. People of all ages come to it, not just teenagers. We have little kids about 5 years old up to people who are 50, 55. So it's a really huge range, and we really get to attract a lot of people.
So far, we've done a program called Dine Out for Diversity, as was mentioned earlier, where every month we choose a restaurant that represents a different cultural part of Saline. For example, January was Palio's, an Italian restaurant in Ann Arbor, and we released information, kind of cultural background in Saline, and then some of the profits from that night were kicked back to the Youth Council. We've also just had our first lock-in a couple of weeks ago, and we're planning for a Youth Recognition Award coming up soon.
We have gone on a lot of field trips. We went to Blake's. We did a car wash for fundraisers.
We're currently getting ready to host a dance for all the people we meet here, and all the people. It's open to anybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to host a talent show. That's going to be fun.
We tried for a teen center, but it didn't quite work.
Didn't pass.
It didn't pass on the ballot, so that's okay.
Yeah, we're going to keep working.
Some of the things that we've done, like of recent, is we just, over Halloween, we took kids to a haunted hayride. We had a huge turnout from it. Right now, we're working on a new project for the spring. We're going to take grades 7th through 12th to a paintballing trip in Pontiac.
In the meetings, we split an hour we worked with adults, so adults can say if everything is okay with what we're doing, and we get an hour alone time. And for activities, we have Safe Night, and Safe Night is, we use the rec center and we have a dance for 6th through 8th graders, and they do safe things. You have to, and it's free of charge, but in order to go in, you have to do, I think it's 3 activities you have to do about drugs and like premarital sex and stuff like that. And then we work with senior citizens. We want to get youth involved with senior citizens. So we did Mardi Gras at the Maple Lawn. We do patriotism. We send cards to the people of 9/11. And right now we're doing family night, family game night, so a family can get involved with the youth.
Young people are making a difference in their communities. From giving input to committees to making youth centers, they are making a difference. But most importantly, they're having fun and taking pride in their community. Not only does the community benefit, the young people themselves benefit greatly. They have a better understanding of the way government operates, and it also gives them a feeling of ownership in their community and control of their future. Communities have found that at large events, youth have helped reduce costs by volunteering. This helps reduce the need for extra staffing at events. There are many ways to get young people involved in your city, and right now we're going to take a look at a few ways other cities have gotten their young people involved.
It wasn't hard to get the kids. The kids were great. They were ready to go. I mean, as soon as I talked to the original group, they were like just on fire, ready to go. It was getting the adults to buy into the idea that took a while. So we just sort of forged ahead and hoped that the adults would catch on.
It was pretty slow at first, actually. I expected a large crowd. I think we set up for 30 or 40 kids. You know, we had food, everything, the whole 9 yards, and about 12 or 13 kids came, which at the time, you know, was kind of a little bit of a letdown, but now that I look back and think about it, it was actually a great response. I think we're lucky to get the 12 or 13 that we've had, and most of them have stuck with us and are here today, or the couple that we haven't, you know, been able to hang on to, we've filled in those spots. So I was pretty pleased with it from the start.
Why did we start a Mayor's Youth Council? That you got to go back in history. We started out in '95 with the Wood Strivers, a group of young kids who were dedicated to the substance-free lifestyle plus a willingness to serve. And it's just sort of grown into that, and as we become more and more involved in seeing what youth can do and they begin to learn what they can do, I think it just seemed like a youth council was a very natural outgrowth, and I think so far it's proving to work pretty well, and it's going along well. So I'm very pleased to have the ability to make that happen for our kids.
Very well. We've been running for a year now, and our teen council is run through the township parks and recreation offices, and so we don't have a city manager or a mayor, and right now we're seeking support from our supervisor to get them more involved at a government level. But right now they're involved in different committees and throughout the community, and they are being active decision makers at the community level.
It started with the young people at the after-school program, and as they outgrew it, they didn't know what to do next. And so we had a Meet the Mayor's night, and a lot of young people came. And they were very surprised to find that the local city council was interested in their ideas and attitudes toward things. And after a lot of discussion, we decided that we really needed a Mayor's Youth Council that could give us advice on things pertaining to youth. If you really want to know what youth are thinking, the very best thing in the world to do is ask them.
Here are a few steps you can take to get youth involved in your city. Appoint an adult liaison between the youth and the city. Parks and Recreation is a good place to start. Have an open house or meeting to invite youth opinion. Be clear about what you need the youth to do. Recruit at the middle school and high school. Include as many youth as possible. Schedule activities when they are available, like after school, evenings, and weekends. Form an all-youth group council, committee, or etc. Set up fun activities for the group. And remember, everyone needs to have fun. Here are a few contacts to help you get your group started. The MML, the Michigan Municipal League of Cities, the MRPA, the Michigan Recreation and Parks Association, Farmington Hills Youth and Family Services, and Farmington Hills MYC, the Mayor's Youth Council.
Hi, I'm Dave Kinchin, Youth Coordinator for the Michigan Municipal League, and we are very interested in helping you set up a youth council or some sort of youth activity involvement in your community. The MML is the state's largest organization that represents local communities and local governments. Basically, we represent about 500 communities, and we provide them technical support, educational training on some of the latest issues that affect local elected officials, which also include youth issues as well. We are very passionate about getting young people in your community involved in your civic affairs. Why? Because they're a vital source of civic engagement, and they are a core constituency that often remains unrepresented in local government. We've done many steps at the state level to encourage local communities to get involved with their young people. Let me go over some of the conferences that we hold for you and some of the activities that we put on. Every year, the Michigan Municipal League holds a legislative conference in Lansing that we invite mayors, council members, and city managers to attend. In the last 4 years, we've also invited high school students to attend this day-long event so that they can get a daily understanding of what issues their elected officials are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. This allows young people and elected officials to have some time during that day to talk about the issues going on in their community, but at the same time, it gives them a chance to get out of school experience in how local government works. It's real government, real time, so to speak. We also hold a convention in which we invite those young people to attend a week-long conference. Here they have actually more time to participate with local officials in discussions and debates on issues from roads, traffic, to building youth councils and skate parks as well.
Once your youth group is formed, there is help available. From grants and loans to youth conferences where other youth groups from around the state come together each year to trade ideas and accomplishments. Here's Todd Lippa from Farmington Hills Youth and Families to talk more about the annual Youth Symposium.
Youth Symposiums, what a great time for young people to come together. Not only can young people come together, but also those adults that represent their communities, as in city managers, mayors, city council members, firemen, police officers, parents, involved teachers, administrators. It gives a chance for everyone to come together and speak about what's happening in their communities and around Michigan. It's important that young people take a leadership role today. Young people have the ideas and the creativity to make Michigan a better place. If your community is looking to become involved and have youth, please join us at one of the youth symposiums. It's been a chance for young people to sit back, create, present, and work together to make Michigan a better place. So please join us at one of the youth symposiums around Michigan and join us in making Michigan the right place for kids.
Today's young people are tomorrow's leaders. A foundation has been started in which we can all build upon. As you've seen in this video, youth are ready to make a difference. All they need is your leadership and an opportunity.
The teen council is just, it gives me an outlet to really put what I think forward, and I feel that anybody else who is with the teen council feels the same way. It's just been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done in my life.
For the most part, everybody is very excited, very engaged, and when they form an idea or have a voice about an opinion, they're excited, they act on it right away. They like to see things done immediately, done yesterday. I think it's great. Their energy is just out of this world.
Just try it, you know, you never know what you might stumble across because there could be something that you know about and other people don't.
And if you have an opinion and you want to express it, this is the way to do it.
Definitely, because it's easier for adults to hear it if it's in the newsletters that, we don't read those normally, the adults do, and they get it most of the time better than teenagers do. So it's easier just to have your opinions expressed.
The members of the youth councils that I've had the opportunity to personally meet and chat with, there is a huge amount of enthusiasm, and I think certainly as this movement continues marching forward, we're eventually going to reach the day when all of our local units of government will have some form of a program or an organization involving youth.
When I first started out, I was incredibly shocked to see that they were coming to our meetings and they were asking us what we thought about this and what we thought about that, and they really wanted us to help them in the community, and they really wanted us to be a part of it, and it was just really motivating.
Our meetings are all run by teens. I'm the only adult that comes right now as an advisor. I pretty much sit in the back. They run the meetings. They come up with all the ideas, which they were pretty tentative at first. It takes them a while to realize that they actually can do the things that they want to do. But they've pretty much taken off with it, and they have a good time.
It's just a great place. There are a lot of good people that know how to get work done. It's good to think of some new ideas to get youth involved in Saline, and just get out there and be part of the process.
I really encourage other cities to get it going. Like I said, not only will it will save you money. A lot of people say, I don't have the resources, I don't have the personnel. I don't have an individual like you in your position that can be responsible just for that. There are adults out there, and I have them in our community, and I've heard of others as well, who will give their time and sit with the council. And you don't need to lead them. You don't need to be a whole, to do a whole lot for them. But you get a group of kids together in the room, and get a discussion going. They're pretty much going to run with it on their own.
Participating in an after-school youth program for me allowed me to develop interests in television and public affairs, interests that I probably wouldn't have developed in middle school or high school. And now as the youth coordinator for MML, it's a great opportunity for me to help other communities develop opportunities for young people that they might not have in other situations.
I actually really like the fact that I can change something in my community. Like, I know that there's not very many after-school programs. Like, they're really nice ones, the ones we do have, but they don't really go to everyone. They're mostly like football or soccer or track, something that a lot of people who like to do sports would like to do. But there aren't very many places where you can just go, hang out, play on computers. So that's actually one of the things we're trying to do right now, is just try to get a youth center. But it's the fact that I can help change like something in my community for the better for the kids, since we are the community growing up. It's just a really great feeling for me.